An important part of user interface of Revit is ribbon. Ribbon is positioned at the top of the interface and it consists of tabs like architecture, structure, precast system, etc. and panels like build, circulation, model. You can see that the first tabs are for the participants of the design process. First is for architect, second and third is for structural design. On the third tab still, we have tools used in definition of structural connections, precast and systems for consultants like mechanical, HVAC and electrical. Next tab is insert. We may import, for example, CAD underlay that we can use for redrawing from 2D to 3D or link 3D models like IFC or Revit. Next tab is annotate. So we have here all the 2D annotation that are vital for the documentation process, like dimensions, detail components, field regions, revision clause, text, and tags. Next is analyze, which is used, for example, for analyzing structural loads or conduct calculation regarding systems like duct pressure or pipe pressure. We have also here, for example, tools to calculate carbon footprint. We will not use any of those tools in this course. There are many functions in Revit that actually, although they are there, might not be used by you at all in your professional practice. Next, we have massing and site. Here we have an important tool that allows us to create a topo solids, and we have tools for conceptual mass, which is used at the initial stages of architectural design. Next, we have collaborate. This tab will not also be used by us. This is used when we are working in group in professional environment in a studio where the team is working on a model together. Then the model is divided into individual files and then synchronized with the central models. We also have copy and monitoring tools that allows us to work with linked files that provided by consultants. On the view, we have all the tools concerning visibility. So we can hide here elements and make sure that they look according to our desire. And we have also possibility to create basic views like elevations, section callouts, or 3D views also here. Next, we have manage, which is basically a place where we create our design standards. We can access materials, object styles, or apply line styles, line weights, and patterns to our two objects in Revit. Next, we have add-ins, and it will be filled with additional functions if we install them separately, downloading them from the external sources. On the Modify tab, we may find the most commonly used tools like Move, Rotate, Copy, Align, etc. We will learn more about this tab in future lessons. What's important, we can always drag and drop the panels belonging to the ribbon onto our drawing areas. I simply drag and drop, for example, Modify tab. I rarely use it like that, but maybe you find it useful. This will always stay on top, even if I switch between other tabs. If I want it to go back to its default position, I click on this small icon. What's interesting, if you hover your mouse over any function, there will be a description and sometimes a helpful tip appearing on this small pop-up. Sometimes even a video might appear. Let's see it with a curtain grid. You see, we have this short animation that will help us understand how the tool works. Also, you may notice that next to the tool name, there is a shortcut in the brackets. So for example, for aligned dimension, there is DI. The way we use keyboard shortcuts in Revit is by simply typing them on the keyboard. So we don't have any box like in AutoCAD command line where we enter the shortcut, we simply type. So let's type DI. Now I'm in the aligned dimension tool and I can place. You may notice that when I'm in the command, in order to get out of it, I can click Escape or click Modify. That is also on the ribbon. Pay attention that the Modify tool is available on every tab. So if I switch between tabs, I can always access this tool. This is there because we use it very, very often. Some additional functions may appear on the ribbon when we are in the command. So if I, for example, activate wall tool, I'm redirected to modify tab, and next to the default tools, I may find the green panel, which consists of panels that are strictly connected to the tool that I'm in right now. So I have, for example, here draw, placement, and join, and under the ribbon there is additional bar concerning, for example, constraints and height and location line. Of course, the set of tools will differ depending on the tool that I'm in. So if I'm in, for example, column, you may see that this is totally different. Similarly, when I select element on the screen, I'm also redirected to modify, and I have this green zone available with modification tools. Remember that you can always click modify in order to go back to the default unselected mode. You may shrink down the size of the ribbon by clicking at the minimize panel buttons. I very rarely use it. You see that it got smaller, and if you click it again, it might almost disappear. And actually, this button is clicked usually by the beginners, and they ask me, where is my ribbon gone? So this is what might be the case. So you have to click it a couple times in order to restore the default view. Above the ribbon, we have quick access toolbar, which is here, and we may add additional tools to it by right clicking on a command in ribbon and select add to quick access toolbar. You see now wall command is available when I expand this quick access toolbar, which actually doesn't make sense because we want to access it much quickly. So what I advise you to do is to show it below the ribbon. You just simply click on the small icon and select show below ribbon. Now I have the entire width of the screen available to add additional tools. So you see, if I would add other elements to it, then I have almost unlimited space to add more icons. If you don't plan on using certain tabs in Revit interface, you may actually deactivate them. Go to File, Options, and here under User Interface, we may uncheck, for example, visibility of Steel tab that we will not use in this course. We may also uncheck certain analysis tools. We will not conduct structural, mechanical, electrical, or piping analysis, so we may disable it. Remember that you can always restore them in this place if you will use it in the future. So I click OK, and you see I disabled the Steel tab completely. For some reason, I don't have option to hide precast tab, which I think is some kind of mistake on the part of Revit, but we can live with it there. It's not big of a deal. On the Analyze tab, we may see that it shrinked down significantly, so we may see those icons being bigger than before. If you want to override the default keyboard shortcuts in Revit, you can go to View, User Interface, Keyboard Shortcuts. For example, I applied an additional shortcut for the Modify tool, which again, it's on the corner of each tab. I will remove it just to show you how to apply it. The default one is MD, and I can simply type something and click Assign. This way, I'm not overwriting the existing default shortcut, I'm adding additional ones. So we're still maintaining two shortcuts for this selected function. I simply click OK, and now when I'm in this command, I can simply click Modify using the shortcut that I just applied. Some of the panels on the ribbon have small arrow icons in the corner, which display additional settings in a separate window. Although this icon is very small, it might have some additional essential features that you may use in your design process. I know it might be overwhelming for you to see all those icons at once, but the good thing is they are very well organized. So when we are using them in the future lesson, it will be easy to access them. I will just use the path like tab, annotate, panel, dimension, and then I will say exactly which tool I'm using, in this example align dimension. So remember that nomenclature in the future lessons.